Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So excited to have our Professional of the Year and Principal Interior Designer, yes, Rebecca Pogonitz, joining us here to talk more about what she does at GOGO Design Group. And she also has a very special guest joining us today. And by the way, I have to thank you for sending those beautiful images of that kitchen, that wine bar. It's great to see your work. And I think that's super important. And I want everyone to do the same. GoGoDesignGroup.com. And not to leave you out, but you have a special guest here, Teak Barton. Why don't you introduce your friend?
Sorry, Teak.
Hello.
Actually, the images I sent specifically because Teak and I work together on these projects. And so today we're talking about the magic of collaborative partnerships. So.
Well, I don't know if you plan on sharing your screen to bring them up, but I sure can if you're interested as we talk about that a little later.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind doing that. Obviously, I'm a little technically challenged.
Don't you worry. Well, both of you, I would love to tell us a little bit about, Teak, as our special guest today, tell us what you do.
I do 2, 3, 4 things: sleep, eat.
Raise your beautiful cat.
Yeah.
Tell us about the building company you have. My goodness.
I own a design build company, so we design and build typically high-end single-family custom homes, additions and remodels. I own another company. It's a real estate brokerage. It's boutique-y. We do real estate buy, sell, lease in Chicago and the North Shore and all of Florida.
Beautiful. And it's Magnum Builders. That's MACNON.com. Amazing work, amazing galleries. We're going to talk. By the way, so what's your area? Is it just Illinois or are you working nationwide?
So for the build side, north side of Chicago and all of the North Shore. Chicago's North Shore.
Beautiful. And our friend, you're over in Stokey, right?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh, well, I am an interior designer who does my best to infuse as much love, joy, and fun into the world because it's a crazy world and it's hard to navigate out there. So I'm all about having fun. And that's why I love working with Teak.
Yes.
He has a very wry sense of humor and he inspires my creativity. That's for sure. So yeah, and I actually would love to work all over. My dream is to work anywhere, Italy, just because I'm in love with Italy.
Right.
Who isn't? But I will work anywhere. Have work, will travel.
And her work speaks volumes. I think you'll get hired anywhere, the two of you now, as a collaborative partnership. This is exciting. We're going to talk about some of the collaboration. But before we get there, how did the two of you connect and meet? I always like hearing the backstory.
Well, Teak and I met, I think it was probably 20 years ago, right, Teak, on a job site in Skokie for a young family. It was the first time we worked together and I was very green. And not because I was sick, because I needed I know that was a bad joke.
No, it was cute.
I had just started my business a couple years ago prior, and Teak was amazing. And to this day, he has believed in me, inspires me to be better, do better. I'm a better designer because of him and businesswoman.
So. Thank you. Likewise on all that. So we were sharing the same client. The client hired both of us. We didn't really know each other. I had heard of her through another client. So we're doing this. It's an elaborate addition remodel, expansive. And as I started to see Rebecca's ideas, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And that project just turned out amazing.
Yeah.
So I started to recommend her to my other clients to say like, hey, are you working with a designer? You might working with this chick. She's really cool. And again, to mirror what Rebecca's saying, if anything I can say about our projects, forget about how it turns out. I just adore hanging out on the project and throwing ideas around and having a good time. We're simpatico because if you have to work, it should be fun. That's the bottom line.
Oh, well, thank you.
And we always work out the tough parts, right, Teak?
there are always tough parts, but you know what? All problems get smoothed over and
Right.
solved. And at the end, it's an amazing project and everyone's happy.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Oh, well, thanks for being here. And I know for today, you mentioned that you are as strong as your weakest link, right? You love this expression. So you want to talk a little bit about surrounding yourself with inspiring collaborative partners. And we're going to get to, a little more about the work as an interior designer, as a builder, and what you guys all do and collaborate together. So take the lead, Rebecca.
Well, it's funny because I do use that expression a lot, and I knew you were going to ask me to explain that. So I was like Googling the actual meaning of it because but from how I interpret it, and Teak, I'd like to hear your opinion. Everyone is equal on a job site, right? We're all there to hold each other up, to support each other. So we are all as strong as our weakest link. So for instance, when I started out in this business, I was learning a lot on the job site, and I still learn every day, but I was empowered and infused with the self-confidence moving forward because I was surrounded by people stronger than me who didn't have egos, who were humble and saw and see my talent. So, I always strive to surround myself with people who are smarter than me, more talented than me, whatever, because I just think that's how you evolve and expand. And so that's what I mean, that if you surround yourself with the best people in the business, they can compensate for your weaknesses and you can compensate for theirs. And we all play a specific role and literally support each other and hold each other up. And what I love about my collaborative partners, and you are going to meet a lot of them, Jill, because when I heard I could have guests on this show, I've been lining them up. I love my people. They're cool. They're fun. They believe in me, right? We all have insecurities. They believe in me. They lift me up. When things get rough between us, the communication, we sit down, we hash it out. I am so appreciative for that. So I hope that explains it.
Sure does. Thank you so much. And let me ask
Mhm.
Justique, what do you love about collaborating with Rebecca here?
well, again, her joie de vivre is infectious. You know, she's always excited about the project. And like, work is the most overrated thing ever. I
Yeah.
really don't want to work. I have to, so I'm going to do it. So I want it to be enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebecca's approach is just great. So she told me that her approach with her clients is she'll be in a showroom looking at something or suggesting something, and she'll ask her client, "What do you think about this?" And she
Mm-hmm.
says, the client will say, "Oh, I like it." And Rebecca's attitude will be like, "No, that's not good enough. You must love it. We're going to keep looking." And so she urges the client to keep looking until you really love the thing. I think that's what collaboration leads to. When we're working on a project, when it's done, everywhere your eye falls should be something lovely that you love looking at. It's been thought about, it's been designed, it's been curated,
Yep.
and that really is the end product of collaboration because no one has a monopoly on all the good ideas.
True.
Other people's ideas, like it just makes the soup richer.
And speaking of collaboration, would you mind if I pulled up one of the images to start with the work that you two have collaborated on? I'd appreciate it. Here
Yeah, go for
goes. All right, what do we have here, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, I love it. Who built
Me
that? I love
too.
it.
it. And we have to credit Nancy Jacobson of Kitchen Design Partners,
Yeah.
who
Okay.
came in and did this. But Teak, do you want to speak to that? Because you were the one who brought me in on this project.
Yeah, these couple of gals, this is Evanston. They bought this place. It's like 100-year-old framed house, and they bought it after they had some superficial remodeling done to it, but they love the neighborhood and they like the rest of the house. So this is actually a huge addition on the back. It's 3 stories, basement. First floor is this kitchen, dining area, and the second floor is a really lavish master suite. And so I brought Rebecca and Nancy from Kitchen Design Partners, who we both adore working with as well. And the concept, after looking at this place, which I don't know where she came up with this idea because it's kind of, old traditionally house. Rebecca called this thing, let me get this straight, is that Remind me what you called this thing, the design style.
Well, yeah, I give a design style at the beginning of
Industrial
every
farmhouse. What was it?
um modern farmhouse with a twist.
There was like a more edgy adjective stuck on that thing, but that was the design. So I like when she starts out, like the palette is still open, it's a blank canvas. She starts, this is going to be, I think it was industrial farmhouse. So
Could go that too.
yeah, but I like starting out with like, okay, here's the theme, and then you can start to add the components to that. And by the way, I love this blue backsplash tile that goes from countertop to ceiling, and foregoing traditional casing around these windows. And this is all Rebecca's ideas, and instead wrapping with this tile. And this falls in the category of things that Rebecca will suggest an idea, and I'll think, well, that's the most batshit crazy thing I've ever heard. And then my next thought is like, okay, how can we do it? Let's do it. And almost invariably, it turns out, oh my God, that's genius.
Thanks, Teak.
Beautiful. Wow. What else did you want to add about this, Rebecca? And let me know when you guys want to go to the next, because we have a few more images to show.
Yeah, well, the thing that I so much appreciate about Teak, a number of things, but yeah, he thinks I'm crazy, but because he's so creative and determined to resolve things on the job site, a lot of contractors, builders will say, I'm not doing that. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work. I'm afraid to try it. Teak isn't afraid to try anything. And his people on his team, they've been working with him for years, 20 years. They're all family, you know. His people, they don't balk at anything I come up with. It's just a joy. And I think that's why our projects rock so much, because we're all there with the synergy of making something happen. And that's what I really appreciated about this project. This was the first time I ever did this, and for a client. I did it in my own kitchen, actually, in my past house, but the fact that my clients let me play with this and let me explore and experiment was pretty amazing. So
Mm-hmm. Well, it is beautiful and amazing work from both of you. Thank you so much for that. Let's back on up here and pull up the next image. This beautiful bathroom. Can you see it?
Mm.
yes, that's in the same house.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'll let Teak speak, but I selected, that's actually porcelain wood, and we used a slot drain, which Teak can explain, so that that wood went into the shower, wood in quotation marks. And I selected that because I wanted to bring in that old farmhouse vibe, and plus, you know, keep it modern and fresh. And the primary bedroom is carpeted, so I didn't have any issue with doing a wood look in here.
Yeah, I dig it. I love this wood looking porcelain plank thing. And I'll say on this project, for this master bathroom suite, it's not a big space. It's really cool, but I went through 5 different iterations. We did the blueprints for this project, but I still went through 5 different iterations while we were building. Like, I think we can come up with a better layout. We kept changing
Mm-hmm.
it around, and we arrived at this. Got this cool freestanding curvy tub because the rest is kind of rectilinear, so a little curve in there softens it. Put that nice oval window above it. Added a skylight, cool. But the point is, even though we did the blueprints, we're always looking while we're building, how could this be better? You're standing in the space, you're considering it. So it's not like, here's the plan, I'm Stan, get out of the way, I'm going to build it. We're constantly reconsidering what we're doing and engaging the client. And that's part of the whole collabo thing. That's why these things turn out amazing. So small space, but really cool, really inviting.
Awesome. Shall we go to the next?
Sure.
Perfect. This, oof, another beautiful kitchen. Or is this the other side of that kitchen? Wait, no.
We're looking through one end of the kitchen. There's another slide that looks into the kitchen. This is looking
Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Is that the microwave oven there on the island?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and on the other side?
So that's a bar area, the dining bar area, the casual dining bar area right off the backyard. And this house was actually, I think it was built in 2001. It was basically a spec home. And we really wanted to zhuzh it up and make it look, give it some character. The clients had a bohemian vibe, but they also wanted it clean and decluttered and modern. This kitchen is also we created this kitchen with Nancy Jacobson of Kitchen Design Partners in Northbrook, Illinois. And so this shot just shows how we incorporated, we redid the stairs, we created a bar. They're big drinkers and partiers, and in a good way, of course. And we just the big thing is these salvaged beams. And I'm going to let Teak talk to those because those were a labor of love.
Yeah. Can we pull up the other picture that looks into this kitchen? It's got the beams in the ceiling, but there's
Okay.
another view where we're
Okay.
looking.
Hold
It'll help
on.
clarify what this thing looks like.
Which would not,
Oh, maybe it's not in your, I
I
don't know
don't
what
think I
was.
have it. Hold
Okay,
on.
Oh,
sorry
that's
about that.
okay. So this thing, um, so really nice high-end kitchen. It was a spec home. It's kind of a McMansion. This is in Northbrook. They wanted to do a reset. So that bar room in the back is really cool. It's its own room that we redid. But this wood beam thing, we're getting into the project, and again, file this under a batshit crazy idea. Rebecca's like, I want to put these big X's on the ceiling. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So she's sketching it out on a cocktail napkin. I'm like, okay, so we're developing the idea. Like, what would it be? Like copper to ceiling? It's like, no, I'm thinking more like a rustic wood, which developing this idea, it just sounds crazy. You're like, what is that going to look like? So then we develop it to like, okay, refine the sketch. Okay, we decide it's going to be like rustic wood, and we're trying to pitch this to the client. It's kind of hard just with words to say what this is going to be, particularly when you
Mm-hmm.
see what the price tag to hang on this thing is. It's significant. So you're trying to pitch this client who lives in a traditional home to put these recycled barn wood on their ceiling. So what we did is we got an interior rendering of what it would look like finished. Photorealistic, super accurate down to the light fixtures, the countertops, the cabinets, the flooring, and these recycled wood beams. So they saw the rendering and they're like, okay, we're willing to pull the trigger on this. So we did it. It took a ton of work. This is all recycled beams. They're not solid. We actually recreated it, the beams mitered together so they look like chunky beams. And it really makes the whole thing. And it's an award-winning kitchen. So there again is the whole process of like, have an idea, develop it. And I'll say this, design can be like 95% imitation. You see what's current, you do it. What you're really looking for is that 5% that's inspiration and innovation. And it's easy to just skip that over like, we'll just have a drywall ceiling. So I really appreciate working with Rebecca and other people in my design group and collabo group, because it'd be so easy to just skip this. This is hard. And it's not like we made a lot of money for doing this. It's because we love it and it turned out great and the client adores it. And again, it won an award, I think largely because of this thing on the ceiling.
Yeah. Wow, this is fascinating work. And now just from from the design process to completion, how long did that take?
This build is probably like 8 months or so.
Mhm.
Wow, it is fantastic. And let me ask you about the floor. Is that wood flooring? Is that what type of floor is the most common people are using nowadays? I mean, I heard about vinyl. I know it's not as, but tell me the difference on why people are choosing this over others.
Well, that we were working with the existing floors because it would be a big expense to replace the flooring. And the thing is, I really wanted this lighter finish and I wanted it to jive with the beams. And
Mm-hmm.
Teak has this genius flooring guy who could turn red oak floors into these blonde looking floors just by,
Wow.
he has these magic potions. And so we were able to convert the red oak floors into these really cool
Oh my goodness.
barn feeling
Yeah.
floors.
Who knew? I didn't know.
Yeah. That was an inspired decision. And we've actually used that same magic hocus pocus on a couple other projects. Take boring, orangey looking red oak and turn it into this blonde looking
Oh
thing,
my
which just love it.
goodness. All right, what
Yeah.
about this? I'm a huge, huge wine person, so I would love to have this. Tell me about this wine cellar. Holy, oh my goodness.
Well, I have to say the best part of it is that our client actually entertains people in there. He told me that they have wine tastings and everything, and that's like mission accomplished.
Wow.
So, this used to be the media room in another kind of spec home, and I'll let Teak talk about the technical stuff, but what I really want to point out is that very, very special. It looks like a painting in the back. We worked with materials marketing in Chicago, Illinois, and we purchased a JPEG from a well-known photographer of our client's favorite location. This is in Napa Valley. And we literally, we sent it to the stone company, and that's tumbled marble actually. And
Oh
we
my
projected the image
goodness.
onto the tumbled marble.
Wow.
And just to give it that old world vibe, this is a little more traditional project. But of course, my clients always let me push their envelopes a little bit. So it has, clean lines and everything and a little bit of an edge to it. Yes, and this wine cellar actually holds 3,000 bottles.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Mhm.
I'll just say a couple things about it. One, I would wish one time ever that a client would choose for their view instead of being like Napa Valley or Tuscany or something to be like Wabash underneath the L tracks. Like
Mm-hmm.
your wine room is right downtown. I would love to see that. It'd be cool. No one ever does it. Uh,
Well, we'll
the
try that on another project.
Okay, that'll be I'll push for that. So it'll be new urban gritty will be the inspo. The other thing is this whole room is climate, humidity, and temperature controlled for the wine. And here's the final irony for me.
Okay.
It hovers around 55 degrees, and it looks great and inviting. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit around and drink wine wearing a parka at
No,
55
unless
degrees.
we're at like an ice bar, ice hotel, but yes.
Right. So that's the trade-off. It looks beautiful, but to preserve the wine, it wants to be 55 degrees. So it is. So I don't
Yeah.
know how long they can endure sitting there having their
Well,
cheese plate
it's funny.
or
I just went to
charcuterie in
Napa.
55 degrees.
I went to
Mhm.
Napa and Sonoma for the first time, and I forgot what vineyard it was. We went in the back with the owner, and he had very similar to this. And before we came, he actually warmed the temperature up, and there was like a group of like
Oh,
15 of us, so it was
there you go.
comfortable. And then he put it back on. I mean, does that really
That's a
damage
good
the
idea.
wine? But that's how he did it. And he brings the private guests in the back, and it was so fancy. It was still chilly,
Nice.
but he shut the AC off, and the temperature so it
Nice.
was warmer for people. But then
Cool.
hopefully remember to put it back on because then you're going to ruin wine.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Maybe that's
Right
what
on.
he did.
yeah, who knows? Wow, look, this is great. And also, now this image here is another one you wanted to talk about as well. And we're almost out of time, so I apologize. We have 2 minutes left to get this in this bar area. Where's this?
It's directly to the right of the wine cellar. So
Oh,
he likes his
oh,
gin too, our
oh,
client.
perfect. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah,
project.
so yeah, it was just sort of this very it needed a lot of TLC, and we just elevated it completely.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, before we started, the existing bar that there was there looked great. Most people would give their left arm for it, but it all got ripped out. But of course, as always, it's like, oh my god, this thing is mind blowing. And these
Yeah.
columns, they're structural that are wrapped in mirror. And when I heard that they're going to wrap it in mirror, I'm like, really? That's the cheesiest House on the Rock orange shag carpeting idea ever.
Oh my
But it was
goodness.
a smoky mirror. It ended up being really cool. So,
Wow. Well, thank
man,
you
crazy
guys.
ideas working out good.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Unfortunately, we are out of time and I'm trying to stop sharing my screen and I don't know how to do that. Oh, stop share. There we go. So tell us how we can reach you both, Rebecca and Teak.
You can reach me at 847-337-0526, Rebecca at gogodesigngroup.com. And Jill, I wanted to tell you, take a look at my website again. I just rebranded. gogodesigngroup.com. Whole new look.
Wait,
GOGO
I
reinvented.
should have known that because I clicked on the link before. Oh, now it's off. Sorry, but I will check it out. Antique, what
Yeah.
about you? I'm so sorry. It pushed me out.
No problem. Phone is 847-724-1510. Macnon.com, MACNON.com is the builder. Realty side is Property Rocks, plural, PropertyRocks.com.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. And looking forward to the
Thanks
next
so much
time
for
we
hosting.
connect. Thank you. And thank you
Thank
to
you,
your beautiful
Jill.
little cat that I got a sneak peek of before. By the way, what's your cat's name? Oh,
What's his name?
oh, I can't hear you
Hear
because you
you.
moved away from the mic.
Cappuccino is
Cappuccino. No,
Oh,
it is
cappuccino.
it's a he?
Yeah.
Is he like a half like domestic Maine Coon Siamese? What is he?
he's like half, and he's half.
Oh, hard to
What'd
hear
you
you,
say?
Teak. Teak, you got to come back. Sorry.
Okay,
I hear you better
Yes.
there. He's a what?
he's half Siamese.
Beautiful, gorgeous. All right. Well, thank you so much. I love animals. I wish I had mine around. I would
Sure.
grab them, but maybe
Sure.
next time. Pleasure meeting you, Teak. Great seeing you, Rebecca, and have a
seeing
fantastic
you.
day,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks,
We'll be back.
guys.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.